is simply grand. So Johanna is the author of 4 poetry books: Transformation, Tides of the Heart, Poems for Benicia, Postcards from a Dream, Blue Light Press, 2020, and What Still Matters, Last Laugh Productions, 2023. She also has co-authored a book with 3 women poets titled Love's Meditation, that's Random Lane Press, 2023. She is an award-winning poet who has been published in literary journals and anthologies, including California Quarterly and The Poeming Pigeon. She has been nominated for a Pushcart Prize and was the 2022 winner of the Benicia Love Poetry Contest, a contest with which I'm familiar. Johanna has served as the 6th Poet Laureate of Benicia, California, and is a board member of Ina Coolbrith's Circle of Poets, and which is one of the oldest poetry groups in California, if not much of the nation, if I'm not incorrect about that. The clip that I put as part of my promotion shows her reading at Nina Serrano's Literary Dialogues, which I thought was a pretty cool clip. So,
okay, thank you so much, and I'm really excited and happy to be here. And thank you, Dan, for giving us a place to be together and share our poetry. And thank you to the co-pilots for keeping us going on the Zoom. And thank you to David for keeping track of the time. So I'm going to start. I'm actually going to read from 3 books of poetry tonight. And I'm going to start with Postcards from a Dream. And you can find that on Amazon. And it was published in 2020 by Blue Light Press. And the first poem is titled Forecast. The afternoon thickens and darkens on winter's vine. Sallow leaves weep on rose bushes. Naked tree branches splinter cold light into jagged pieces of dulled glass. Cracks of blue sky are sutured, leaving a pale skin of gray clouds. The forecast says rain. I hibernate under blankets, dream that misaligned planets will right themselves, that the world will continue. The day smells of wet roses. It runs ahead of me, disappears before I can catch it. The gift we are given is never quite knowing when something beautiful will begin or end. The rosebud you gave me, kept in a small wooden box, its petals brittle, yellow, perfect. And the next poem is actually, it was written as an ekphrastic poem for a painting by Carol Dalton, who is a well-known artist, and she happens to live in Benicia. Books. Someday people will ask what it felt like to hold a book, to run a finger down its spine, to inhale the woody odor of paper, to touch the words reverently as if they were blessings. The last of the old ones will remember them fondly and speak in whispers of what has been banned, burned, or buried alive. They will call books the ancient artifacts of truth. They will refer to them fondly as those tiny birds' feet, those thin gasps of knowledge we once tracked across a barren desert, the tracks now lost, covered in sand. They will still keep a few in their hidden bookshelves, the spines toppled over, the pages scattered, the ruins of abandoned cities and the scribble of a dying language gathering dust, the sound of wings written down after the last bird has disappeared. Thank you. And this next poem is titled A Room of One's Own. I wrote it for Virginia Woolf, and it's in 3 parts. 1. You did not choose madness to be your muse. All you wanted was a room facing seaward with stark white windows flung wide open, a quiet place to write the words that floated into your brain like tangled seagrass, the smell of salt carried on late afternoon ocean breezes, filling your nostrils with a giddy freedom. 2. Did you lock the door behind you when you penned those extraordinary novels simmering in your awkward heart? Were you really the defiant, unconventional canary, trilling stubbornly day after day inside some claustrophobic space, perched high and solitary in the confines of a second-story room, gazing out a small rectangular window at perhaps the corner of a dingy brick building or a piece of windless sky? Did the midnight streetlights puncture your tender wings as you escaped through the small crack of an open window, your image mirrored in a pane of streaked glass? You, a wounded bird, now at last liberated, spread your blood-tinged wings towards the Atlantic. Unwritten words, tiny soft feathers drifting down like crimson snow. 3. Virginia, that day in March when your frayed dreams finally unraveled, when you chose to fill your pockets with heavy stones and walk into the cold, dark river, did you for a brief second dare to imagine yourself reborn? That even though the manuscript lay unfinished, the room no longer yours, the songbird's heart crushed, you would vow to return someday to sit with me and with other women who dream of water, who choose their words carefully, who write in other rooms. Thank you. So the next few poems I'm going to read are from my new book, What Still Matters. And I'm really proud of this book. This was published by Last Laugh Productions. Deborah Fouché did the layout, the design, and the cover. And it came out this fall, and you can find it on Amazon. And this, I'm going to start with the first poem in the book. It's called I Want the Word. I want the word tender to be the first word in a poem. I want a poem about tenderness, tender rose petals easily torn, tender wound not yet healed, tender song still unsung. Give the world tenderness, stroke hair, gently wipe away tears. Soon a sparrow will build a nest in your arms. A pine tree will teach you its language. A swallowtail will flutter in your hair. Have tender regard for the moon, how she seems to gaze down tenderly at your small, fragile body, sending you her light. Thank you. This next poem is called Why I Keep Broken Things. I treasure what's broken, what isn't whole. Pieces of seashell, a cracked ceramic cup, a silver necklace missing a clasp, a book with torn pages. I keep the single turquoise earring, the black sock that no longer has a mate. Sometimes I think I should put what's been damaged or has a missing part in a large cardboard box, say a prayer, light a candle, then gently place the box in the trash. But no, I want to save these scraps of my imperfect life, fragments of abalone shell from Mendocino, a chipped teacup from Kyoto, beautifully glazed, a tarnished necklace, a gift from a lover who died years ago. Sometimes a single sock finds a new mate. Two mismatched earrings make a lovely pair. How wonderful to keep the tattered book, its last 2 pages missing, knowing that whoever reads it will make up a new ending. Thank you. Dancing with the trees. What if one day the trees in town uprooted themselves, miraculously moved towards the river in spectacular procession, finally free to search for water after years of drought? What a sight that would be, their long, thick roots gliding down sidewalks, each tree leaving behind a trail of falling leaves, graceful branches swaying their Buddha arms in the air, long trunks creaking and groaning after being tethered to the ground since birth. As the trees pulled their roots out of the ground, people would be frightened, feeling the earth shake. Everyone would call to them, beg them to return, stumble into the gaping holes they'd left behind. I would follow the Japanese maple out of the garden, place my feet on its wizened roots, wrap my arms around its trunk, let it slow dance me to the river, the wind whistling an old love song. Thank you. Clouds. How effortlessly the clouds change. No promises to stay the same. A silver goose, wispy cirrus wings touching the sky, neck and legs stretched long and lean by a strong wind, chases a fork-tailed swallow whose soft, cumulus body glides on breaths of air, its pointed beak beginning to fade. Both birds fly east toward thin streaks of slate, an illusion of misty mountain peaks rising above the real mountain below. Only for a moment do clouds become the ancient dreams we vaguely remember, torn pieces of pearlescent silk embroidered with turquoise threads of light. Soon the birds have disappeared. A thick blanket of gray slowly covers the hazy blue. How effortlessly the clouds change. Perhaps tomorrow, first rain. And this is titled For the Winter Solstice. Winter paints this shortest day the color of silence. Among the dark roots of naked trees, blood-red leaves turn to mulch. The blind worm seeks redemption. A gray memory settles on the frozen land of lost sun, waning moon. On this longest night, there is a turning. A pink rose shivers, blooming defiantly in the cold wind. Abandoned nests sleep in bare trees, dreaming that spring returns as a bird. Tonight, flames will dance, lovers will kiss, The dead will come and whisper in our ears, their mouths filled with light. Thank you. And this is the last book I'm going to read from. And I'm really excited about this book. It just came out in December. And it's called Love's Meditation. The paper out of here. Love's Meditation. And this is a book I collaborated on with 3 other poets, and they're all here tonight. Mary Eichbauer, Lori Haley, and Deborah Bockel-Schmidt. The 4 of us did this book together, and we were really excited to have it published by Random Lane Press. And if you're interested in getting a copy, you can go to randomlanepress.com. Anyway, we each contributed 14 poems. Oh, hi, Bob. Thank you. Oh, good. Bob and Joyce are here. They're our wonderful publishers. So, anyway, we each contributed 14 poems. So I'm going to read 3 of mine. First one is called Loba, and I wrote it for Diane DePrima. Loba, she-wolf who doesn't devour children or grandmothers. You travel silently along the mountain ridge, an owl riding on your back, a constellation of stars shining around your neck. No longer hunted, you have many lovers who growl your name, but one by one, they are left behind as you scratch poems on tree trunks with your sharp claws, a sleeping pup carried tenderly in your mouth. Loba, your alpha heart beats to the rhythm of ocean waves, although you are miles from the sea. You are the wild night wind, the protectress, not the prey, the goddess in the forest who howls at the moon, alone, fearless, and free. This next poem is about aging. It's called Eye of the Hurricane. When I was younger, I wanted a hurricane to have my name. I wanted to be recognized as one of the wildest, most powerful storms tracked on the weather map, a cyclonic dancer spinning towards landfall. I hated the stereotypes, the jokes about hurricanes being named after moody women. I didn't want to be downgraded from a tropical storm to a depression or called temperamental, my winds teasing and flirting with the coastline. Years later, how much simpler to be the eye of the hurricane, the calm center of the storm, the stillness of gray sky and thick clouds, or imagine myself as the black pupil opening up in the center of an iris, what light there is passing through me, even in the darkness. Thank you. And I'm going to finish with this poem. It's a love poem. To the eucalyptus tree. I stood among your family, sunlight shining through their leafy canopies. You heard my keening cry and answered, your tongue a piece of loose bark flapping in the wind, whispering, I am here. I wrapped my arms tightly around you, a person clinging to a mast in a raging storm, put my ear against your trunk, your breath, your heartbeat, becoming my own. I closed my eyes, our spirits entwined, wind and voices quieted to silence. I love you. You saved me from drowning. Let me put down roots in the dark earth, heal in your tall shadow, hidden from the world. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the poems.
Please unmute, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to remove
Excellent.
the spotlight.
Thank you, Johanna.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful reading, Johanna.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
I'm
Just
glad you
beautiful.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
That was just wonderful, Johanna. It's such a pleasure to hear you.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Johanna,
Beautiful.
I have the book I read along with you.
Oh, great.
I read along from this one.
Time.
Oh, yay.
Oh, wow. You got
Yeah,
that
there we
one.
go.
That's cool.
And
Right.
some quotes from the chat. Beautiful. Thank you. Lovely delivery. Beautiful work. I enjoyed watching everyone's faces tonight. Beautiful read. And there's more. There's more.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you
Wow.
all.